If you saw one of my earlier videos, you'll know I haven't exactly done many triathlons this year. In fact, I've only done one, which was the local sprint triathlon in BIDEFORD. Now, I didn't have many planned either way, as my son Jack was due to be born in June, and so he was my #1 priority. But I was still hoping to still do Outlaw Half Nottingham in May. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen as I ended up breaking my foot not too long before the event. So as of now, in October, I've done a handful of races, but only one triathlon. The others were small local running races. But next year that all changes, as I'm looking to really get stuck in and participate in as many races as I reasonably can. So in this video, I'm going to take you through all of the triathlons that I'm planning on racing next year in and around some big life events. I'm going to start in chronological order. So the first race on the calendar is a tentative one, but that is a sprint distance triathlon in TAVISTOCK on the 14th of May. I'm already booked in for two bigger races that are a bit further away, so I'm also looking to do some more local events that don't necessarily need an overnight stay. Now, Tavistock is down near Plymouth, so from me in North Devon, that's around an hour and 20-minute drive. So even if it is an early start, I can just get up that bit extra early and drive down on the day. That being said, as it's a sprint, it may start a little bit later in the day, which would be nice, so I don't have to get up at silly o'clock to go down. But either way, what will be will be. Now, I haven't done this race before, and to be honest, I don't know anything about it, only that it's quite local to me. So very much a tentative one this, but we'll see nearer the time. Especially given that May is a very busy month for me. Stacey and I are getting married on the 7th of May, and then on the 21st of May, I've got one of my first big A races of the year. So that leads me nicely onto the next race that I've got planned. This one is paid for, signed, sealed, delivered, all of that. And that is Outlaw Half Nottingham. I'm going into this one for a bit of redemption as I couldn't race this year, and it does look to be a really fun event. Now, although I haven't done an Outlaw event before, the whole setup really appeals to me, like everything being in the one place. It's a big event, but not like IRONMAN, where it can be in a smallish town and it's awkward for parking and things like accommodation can be quite expensive. Now, I know you can't really compare it being two different events, but I am looking to almost benchmark my performance at Outlaw Half and compare that to how I did at my first middle distance triathlon, which was last year in the Weymouth 70.3. The courses are of course very different and the bike is a lot flatter, so I'd like to think I'd improve on my time that I did in Weymouth. Now, I was a little bit unsure to begin with as to whether I wanted to race in Nottingham, especially given that it's quite far away from North Devon and could be quite expensive. But I ultimately decided that I should make the most of these opportunities and do them while I can. So as soon as the entries came available earlier in the year, I signed up. Given that it's a middle distance race, we're only going to be staying there one night. So we'll travel up on the Saturday, do the racking and everything then, stay the Saturday night, race on the Sunday, and then head home. It's about a 4-hour journey back from Nottingham. So that's Outlaw Half Nottingham, one of my two A races for the next year. Next up is another potential race, and that is the Olympic distance triathlon at Dorney Lake. I did this event last year and absolutely loved it. It was only my second ever triathlon, and it was quite possibly my favourite one. Now, it is in Windsor, so needs an overnight stay, but definitely worth the trip. I really like the fact that everything was in one place. You drive there, park up in the field, and then get cracking with your race. There's no struggling to find parking or split transitions or anything like that. The event really is fantastic for spectating, and I think that's one of the reasons I really liked it so much last year. The swim takes place in the lake, and then you do so many laps on the closed circuit bike course on one side of the lake, and then on the opposite side to do your run, 1 or 2 laps depending on whether you're doing the sprint distance or the Olympic. As soon as I finished the race last year, I knew I wanted to go back, so I'm really hoping to get back to Dorney Lake next year. Now, the company that organised the event put on several throughout the year, all at Dorney Lake, and the one on the 10th of June, I think it is probably the one that's best suited to my calendar at the moment. A bit later in June is another sprint and another pretty local one that I haven't done before. It's in Bude, which is around an hour away from me, so we can get up early in the morning and travel down there. Now, I think it's another one of those that start later in the day, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock. I might be wrong about that, but it would be quite handy if that was the case. Now, I don't know anything about the course or anything like that other than the swim is in the sea. But it's a local event, so I thought I might as well go down and give it a go. This is another tentative event, so not booked in for anything at the moment. I'm going to leave it till nearer the time and then make a decision, but it is definitely one I'm considering. More local events up next, with the CROYDE Ocean Triathlon being on the 2nd of July. CROYDE is actually the first triathlon I ever did, and I didn't half pick a challenging one to get started with. It's an ocean swim, hence the name. Then the bike course is quite hilly, and then the run course is also hilly and mainly off-road. It's also 12k, so a little bit further than the standard Olympic distance. And so it's very different to the likes of Dorney Lake in pretty much every way. As this is another race that I'll be doing for the second time, I'm really looking forward to seeing my splits across all the disciplines to see how I've improved. And it'll also be good to compare the experience to last time. The final local event that I have on the cards is the BIDEFORD Sprint Triathlon on the 17th of July. Now this is the one triathlon that I did this year and I actually really enjoyed it. BIDEFORD is just 10 minutes down the road from me, so it really is a no-brainer to do an event that's right on your doorstep. Now the swim takes place in the estuary, and if you're a local you probably don't think that's very appealing, but this year it really wasn't as bad as it sounds. The bike then takes you out from BIDEFORD towards Torrington and back, and then the run is on the Tarka Trail towards Instow, turn around and then come back into BIDEFORD Quay. Again, I want to improve on my performance from this year, so hopefully the winter training that I've now started will allow me to see some faster times next year. The final event for the season is a little bit later in the year on the 3rd of September, and this is the big one. Along with Outlaw Half Nottingham, this is my main focus for next year as I aim to slay the dragon and complete Ironman Wales. For a while I've decided that I wanted to have a go at doing a full distance, and I really had set my heart on doing Ironman Wales specifically. I thought to myself, if I'm going to do one, I might as well go with one of the most challenging courses that Ironman has to offer. So as soon as the entries became available recently, I whacked out my credit card. That took a bit of a battering, and sorted out my accommodation as well. Now I know that September is still 11 months away, but I know that that time will absolutely fly by. So the winter training that I've recently started is the official start of preparation for Ironman Wales. So they're the 7 triathlons that I'm looking to do next year. But as I said, only Outlaw Half Nottingham and Ironman Wales are the ones that are entered and paid for. I don't have to really worry about the others selling out or anything like that, so I'm going to make a decision nearer the time as to which ones I ultimately do, but I would like to do them all. I do work on call for my job as well several weeks throughout the year. I think it's like 1 in 8 weeks, so that is a factor I need to consider as well. Now these are just the triathlons I want to do. There are definitely other events throughout the year that I want to take part in. As an example, Bideford Blues Running Club put on a 10k, a 10 miler and a half marathon, so I'll be looking to do those. This year I did the 10k and a half marathon, set PBs in both of them I think. So yeah, really looking forward to giving those another crack next year. And perhaps I'll even have a go at some local cycling events and even swimming if I can find any. Basically, after a very quiet year of racing, but for obvious reasons, I'm really looking to get stuck in next year and participate in as much as I can. Now, I do have a question for you. If you've done a full distance triathlon before, would you recommend running a full marathon in the lead up to the triathlon? Let me know in the comments below if you would, that'd be great. So I think I'll wrap this one up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you click on the screen, you can see my most recent video where I cover my plans for winter training and how that's going to take me up to the start of 2023. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. Perhaps it'll be a full week of training as part of my winter training plan. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this one, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop it a like, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.